here on wearechange.org.
All right, good report. I'm a member of LukeUnfiltered.com, and I'm going to be in Miami with Luke this Wednesday, if all goes well. So at the end of the report there, we heard a lot about the gaslighting, right? Why did it, like, if Trump is so bad, why did they have to make all this stuff up about him, right? And doesn't that just gaslight their own audience? It's not working on us. None of us are falling for any of that type of stuff. So when Pelosi's saying that, that just shows like the level of disrespect that she has for the people who put her in power in the first place. Those wait, the lobbyists put her in power, but the people that she rules over, those people are being gaslit continuously. The media channels, the politicians. And why do these things happen? The PP Gate dossier and all the Russia Gate and all this other stuff that happens because there's a segment of the audience to whom you can present evidence and non-evidence, and they don't know the difference. And it's more of a repetition thing with them, not a evidence thing with them. They don't have they don't have
They don't have
a
a conscience
metric.
or a soul, so they can't like reflect on their own thoughts or ideas because
Well,
that would require having
it's
like a
more science.
conceptual consciousness,
Yeah, it's even more science than that, though, I think, because it's like they have no metric or standard. They have no standard for evidence. And I think this comes up with the Candace Owens thing this week where she accused Macron's mom, wife, teacher, lady of being a man. And if you actually like, I can understand what she's seeing, but I would not base my whole career on that because it's not a good line of, like just even explain it to your friends. Like there's some stuff, it's circumstantial, it looks that way. But if you want evidence, like there's evidence to be gotten and not yet gathered. And why would you like put the cart before the horse? Like go gather the information, like
yeah,
actually
right.
get the stuff.
So
But
speculating, but that's the type
yeah,
of show that the Daily Wire runs in general. All their shows are like sparse speculation about cultural issues, low-hanging fruit to prop themselves up to make themselves look they're very intelligent and they're the adults in the room. They're the Christian or Jewish conservatives that are here to save Western culture in some capacity. It's such a facade, such a farce, such a illusion in that regard. Even if they do sometimes do some decent productions, like What is a Woman? So I give them that.
now for those who don't know, they have a movie to show you what is a woman. But as far as Candace, I can't tell. Like Shmuley, he's still trying to get her fired. But I also think maybe he's just helping her launch her new media empire because
Yeah,
at
who
some point
knows?
she's probably separating from the Daily Wire.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely in her future. She's definitely had a lot of internal struggles with management, uh, in particular, because her focus is supposed to be on culture. To be fair to Candace, she's supposed to be focused on culture, obviously in the minority spectrum of culture, and her inability to sort of like be able to at least interview a Ye, for example, when that all went down, because who's one of the heads of the ship. It's Jeremy Boring, who I think is a Catholic or a Christian, and then it's Ben Shapiro, who is obviously a Orthodox Jew and
Intimidated
hardcore
by Ye's
Zionist.
intelligence is another way of saying that.
It's so interesting that they prop up free speech until it hurts their own feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. At least that's Ben Shapiro's famous catchphrase. But then at the same time, when his feelings get hurt, then he doesn't want to hear about any facts that may run counter to his supposed straw men he likes to build and tear down and make himself look so hyper intelligent with logic and reason.
It
So,
happens out there. Ben Shapiro has not, he's in the show tonight. There's a clip about Benny.
definitely.
But it'll take a while to get there. We got to unfold it because it's not Israel tonight. Though an important topic, we will enter in some evidence tonight. But I think what we've done in the past couple months is substantial, and it's a beyond a PhD level anywhere on the planet education on the evidence that exists on this conflict.
Yeah.
I do have an interesting document that Tony, like I've read this before, the Jabotinsky document you sent me, but now in context of the
Oh,
current,
Jabotinsky. Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
forgot about
the
that.
current
Yeah.
conflict, yeah, there's some quotes in here that I think are interesting because it shows 100 years of British colonization prior to Israel actually become a state. So it's an
I think the
interesting,
other angle is like the sort of instantiation between gullible peoples in the 19th century of these very strange Christian denominations or movements that happens, and there's seems to be a confluence or a cross section inflection point, if you will, of British intelligence or British statecraft being manipulating things like the Latter-day Saints potentially or Seventh-day Adventists or like elements of Baptists theology. So it's just interesting. Just saying, and what do they all support? Israel. Fascinating. So I don't know, just
I
interesting.
just saw a picture of Joseph Smith's, I think it was his mansion. It was one of the founding Mormons. It
Mhm.
was a mansion for 59 wives, is what it was.
Yeah.
And it looked like one of those Rothschild mansions that we showed.
Did he have
a
the
couple weeks
famous
ago.
hat inside and the hieroglyphs that he supposedly,
I didn't get to see that part. I didn't get to see that part. Now, Tony mentioned the word gullible. That might be the magic word tonight because our first story coming up is all about the gullible large percentage of the public that does not scrutinize what they're told. They just consume, right? It's like they eat just junk food, junk information, right? If you don't want to be a victim of gullibility, you need to have a consistent method of discerning reality, of demystifying the confusion, of taking the individual parts, making yourself familiar with them and how they work together in a system. It's going to be something you have to do over and over again. So I will take this quick opportunity to let you know on Grand Theft World, if you click over to the Get Autonomy Season 11, you'll see there's still an early bird discount, but time is running out because we're going to start the global meet and greet coming up soon. So if you are interested, click the banner, get in line, click the links, get your meeting, get your better plan for this year, and maybe I'll see you in season 11. With all that being said,
And I might as well mention, and while we're talking about that, town hall this Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern time. And the replays have been made available on the Kajabi platform for members. So if you're looking for the replays, they are made available. And I'll definitely address that on Tuesday as well. So thank you for the autonomy team and the GTW team for making that a reality.
yay, freedom. All right, so I'll see you guys Tuesday night for town hall, and that's better that you said it here at the beginning, Tony, because usually we don't think of it till the end, and
That's
then
why I
only
wanted
the
to
coolest
interject.
people who listen to the whole thing get to go to town hall. So town halls for everybody, and you guys got a free membership for 2 months. If you haven't been to a town hall yet, it's like where you get to talk back. There's conversations going on, popping off. Oftentimes, I just listen in, so it's not about me. And Tony's the three-ring master, makes sure that everything goes nice in there, and that's been great. And we'll see you guys Tuesday night. What is it? 7:30 Eastern is when it starts.
7 o'clock to
Seven,
10.
seven,
Yep, 7
7 to
to
10.
10.
All right, cool. All
You can
right,
hop in
now,
anytime. Yep. Anyone could hop in
and yeah,
anytime.
yeah, and just because you hop in doesn't mean you have to talk, and no one's going to call on you.
Yeah, you can
Let's
just
just
listen. Plenty of people show up like halfway through and just listen. I don't even it's so it's it's totally laid back and very jovial and just open conversation. I just sort of mediate this conversation. So very simple.
fantastic. All right, without further ado, this first story comes to us from Timcast IRL because he noticed. Now, there's a story like this for the past couple years, but there's a more recent study that shows that a large, alarmingly large percentage of our population might even add up to 81 million people. I don't know, but it's a large part of the population that does not have an internal monologue, that does not reflect on their potential actions before they take action. And this has an effect, right? So it's not just like they're missing this internal monologue. What is the value of asking questions before you take action? Oh, so you don't take away other people's freedom and such things, and you don't get hurt as you take actions. It's good to consider, like, is that stove hot before I touch it? That's a good question to ask. I don't want to just test it with my hand, but some people do. And that's why we have emergency rooms. All right, so now let's go to Tim Cast and let's check out, is there any merit to this scientific study? And we might have to look it up while we're listening and get more familiar because that's how this show works. That's where we get the knowledge. All right, let's check it out.
Did you know that a study was done that found that only around 26% of people have what's described as an inner monologue?
Get the fuck out.
This is a story that's been making the rounds quite a bit, and I'd like to weigh in on this because I find it very fascinating. Bustle, as well as many other outlets, have written stories about what it's like to not have an internal monologue. Let me start from the beginning. A lot of people are going around saying NPCs are real. If you're not familiar with the concept of an NPC, I will tell you it's a non-player character. When you play a video game, let's say Mario Brothers, the original Mario, because most people can understand what Mario is. You've seen it. When you're playing Mario, you know that Mario, he's a player character. You are the force behind Mario. You press right, he goes right. You press left, he goes left. You press A, he jumps. You hold B, he runs. But you know that The turtle guys, the Koopas, there's no one playing them. But they move left and right too. Some of them even jump. Those are non-player characters. They are characters in the game you can interact with, but they are not players, and there's nothing behind them but program. That's what many people say about those with no internal monologue. And now the argument is, let me pull up the tweet from Raw Egg Nationalist. He tweeted, if you ever struggle to understand why things are the way they are and why life is so terribly frustrating, remember that 50% of the population don't even have an inner monologue, and they get to vote too. Well, I showed a study that I have the story from IFL Science. People with no internal monologue explain what it's like in their head. And in this excerpt, it says subjects experience themselves as inwardly talking to themselves in 26% of all samples. But there were large individual differences. Some subjects never experienced inner speech. In as many as 75% of samples, the median percentage across subjects was 20%. Now, the numbers varied. Some say 30, some say 20, some say 50. But the point is this. You'll notice in many of these stories about internal monologue, they are all framed as though it is shocking to not have one. What does that mean? If the reality is half of all people do not think inwardly in words to themselves, and even as high as 74% do not, why would the media frame things as though it is shocking to discover? Certainly half to the majority of people, they would be writing stories titled, "Here's what it's like to think in words in your mind." Because if you were in the minority position, you'd imagine that the news outlets would be shocked to find that there are a certain subset of people that actually think in language and words in their own mind. But this presents an interesting circumstance, an interesting reality. The people who are writing articles, who are in control of media, tend to have an inner monologue. I don't know what that means, but it means that the bias is in favor of the minority. Now, if it's 50-50, then it's not so much, but the bias is still in favor of those with an inner monologue are likely to be in positions of narrative, be it Timcast or be it Bustle or any other news outlet. Because the narrative is always framed as though it's shocking that some people don't have an internal monologue. You understand what I'm saying? What this says to me is people with an internal monologue are more likely to wield influence. And that's a fact based on these stories. It also says to me that maybe the NPC thing is real. But I do have a simpler explanation for it that I think is less biased. You see, the people who think to themselves with their inner monologue, which is probably many of you, including myself, tend to view themselves as superior. Why, anyone who does not is an NPC. Yeah, I don't buy that.